Hey guys, I'm the math professor, Kyle Martin, and this is the channel where you do your math homework fast and accurately. All right, today we're talking all about inequalities, and specifically, we're going to intro it by giving you a definition. We're going to give you 4 examples where you switch between words, symbols, and the graph of these inequalities. And then just last thing, remember there's timestamps in the video player down below. That's a little red bar. If you drag the dot to where you want to go, you can find those examples, see the definition wherever you need to go. Let's get into it. All right, I promised you a definition of an inequality, and for this video, what we're going to use is this definition. It represents a region of solutions on a number line, and that's it. All right, what I mean by that is if we take x is less than 9, or if you prefer x is less than 9 written as our inequality using our less than symbol, what this means is at 9, we want all the numbers that are less than that, and that's going to satisfy our solution. Okay, so for example, 3 is less than 9, that would work. So that's going to be included. -2 is less than 9, that would work. 11, not less than 9. So that one's not going to get shaded. Everything that is less than 9 on our number line is going to get shaded, and that region that's shaded is going to represent that region of numbers on the number line. All right guys, example 1 here says x, and then this symbol means is less than. All right, so x is less than 5. What we need to do is graph it, write this out in words, as well as write the interval notation. I didn't mention that in the first screen, but we have to write the interval notation of this as well. And so we'll have kind of 4 parts when we're done. All right, so in the symbols, I'm given x is less than 5. The way to write this out in words is exactly like it sounds. X is less than 5. All right, once we have it written out in words, then I can graph this. The way I like my students to graph this is to use the number we're working with, in this case 5, as well as 0. All right, so when I orient those two things on a number line, 0 will come to the left of my 5. All right, now less than symbols get an open dot. All right, they get an open dot because we don't want to include the 5. We want everything that's less than that, but not included in the 5. Okay, so for example, once we have that on there, then I use my 0 as a test point. Is 0 less than 5? Yeah, of course it is. All right, so I'm going to shade from my open dot towards the 0, and I'm even going to go past it because I want all the numbers that are negative as well. Negative numbers are also less than 5, so that would get shaded all the way to my arrow, meaning it goes on forever that way. Okay, speaking of it going on forever that way, that's going to bring us into our interval notation. Interval notation is kind of a snapshot of what this graph is doing, the shaded piece of the graph. And so I read it like a book from left to right, and my left side starts, well, it goes forever that way, which means it's at negative infinity. So it's going to start at negative infinity, and this is actually going to go all the way up until 5, but it's never going to quite get there, all right, because I'm not including the 5 in my answer. So when I can't quite get somewhere, I use parentheses around those. And notice I put it around the infinity as well, the negative infinity, because we can never quite get to negative infinity. We're not Buzz Lightyear. We're not going there and beyond, right? So we have to stop a little bit before, and so we never quite get to negative infinity. All right, guys, example 2 says x is greater than or equal to 4. This time I gave us the words, all right? So to go from the words to the symbols, again, it's just kind of like it looks, is greater than or equal to. So a greater than or equal to sign is actually this one up here. And so we're going to say x, use that sign, is greater than or equal to, and then of course my 4. All right, so we have the symbols, we have the words, the graph again of this one. Again, we're going to use 0, and then the number I'm working with, in this case 4. So if I orient these on my number line, 4 of course will be to the right of 0. And then we have to think it's greater than or equal to. Well, greater than or equal to signs are a closed dot. And they're a closed dot because I can actually include those in my answer. I want everything that's bigger than, it's greater than, right? Or equal to. So if I were to say 4, well, that's included in my answer. 4 is greater than or equal to 4. Sure, right? Just like 5 or 6 or 7, all the numbers that are greater than would also be included. So again, I'm using 0 as my test point on the graph. Is 0 greater than or equal to 4? Well, no, it's not, right? So I'm going to shade away from it on the other side of the 0, which means I'm shaded to the right. And then the last part of this is that we have to do the interval notation, which again is just a snapshot of this shading. And so here again, I'm reading it from left to right. So I'm starting at the 4, and then this time it goes all the way to the right arrow, which means it's going to infinity. We have to remember infinities always get parentheses, whether they're negative or positive infinities, those always get a parentheses around it. And then closed dots we indicate that this is included by using not parentheses, but a bracket. All right, so this 4 is going to get a bracket, and you always do it towards the inside of your interval notation like that. All right, guys, for number 3, I gave you a tough one. Here it says -2 is less than x. All right, I always think it's easiest if we have our variable, in this case x, written first. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of switch those two spots. Say this now is x, and this now is -2. And then the way you have to kind of be a little bit careful is it's pointed at the -2, it's open to the x, pointed at the -2, and then we can go off of this now as our new symbol. All right. However, we still need to write this in words based off of how it was in our original blue symbol up here. -2 is less than x. You can write it exactly like it sounds, no matter which way it's written. So again, I'm just going to write -2 is less than x. All right, once I have it written out in the words, then I am going to use my bottom part here in black to do the graph of this, all right? And when I do the graph of this, again, I need to have a -2 and a 0. This time my 0 is oriented on the right side because negative numbers are smaller than 0. And remember that when it's a greater than sign, that's going to be an open dot. And then I need all the numbers that are greater than -2. Is 0 greater than -2? Well, yeah, I'd rather have $0 than owe someone $2. So I'm going to shade that way because 0 is greater than that. And this would be the graph. All right, last part's going to be the interval notation. Again, reading this from left to right, and it comes to the graph. And so for this one, we're going to start at -2, going all the way. It goes to my right arrow, so that's going to positive infinity. Infinities, remember, always get parentheses. And then -2, in this case, it's an open dot. That's going to get a parentheses as well. All right, last example here, example 4. This time we're only given the graph. So we have to do the symbols, the words, as well as our interval notation, all based off of this, okay? That can be a little challenging at times, but let's try it. So obviously the number we're going to be working with is a -10. Let's just use x. So I'll put an x, kind of leave a blank here, and then my -10 as far as the symbols go. And then you may have picked up on this throughout the video, but each time, you can go back and check, each time where it's shaded left or shaded right, as long as our x is written first, the arrow, in terms of our inequality sign, is going to be pointed the direction of the shading. So I know I'm going to need at least this part, and then I have to look at my dot. Is it open or closed? In this case, it's closed. Therefore, I would get an equal to with that as well. So now what this says is x is less than or equal to -10. Okay, let's write that out in words just like it sounds. All right, again, x is less than or equal to -10. The last part, we have to do our interval notation, which is that snapshot of the shading. Well, I'm starting like left to right, like I read a book. I'm starting here at -infinity on this one, and I'm going all the way until -10. And so all the way there. Remember, in -infinity or positive infinities, always get parentheses, any kind of infinity. And then a closed dot here at -10 will get a bracket. All right, so we have our symbols, our words, our graph that we were given in the original, as well as our interval notation. So we are done.